Now, a London doctor weighed just 4 stone. She was 30 when she was found dead last September. The inquest into her death heard she suffered from a lifetime of anorexia. A graduate from Cambridge, Dr. Melanie Spooner, worked at a children's hospital in Southwark but was put on long-term sick leave after colleagues became worried about her weight. Joining us now is Natasha Devon, director of Body Gossip, who campaigned for a better body image. Natasha, good morning.
Good morning.
Just such a desperately sad story, this. I mean, this very bright, wonderful doctor, children's doctor, 30 years old, and in some papers it says she was under 4 stone.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's not unusual for people to get to a stage like this doctor where they sort of manage their eating disorder, and I think there's this conception that we have that if you starve yourself that you'll die very, very quickly, but there are people who they hide their illness and they suffer from it, and they sort of go in peaks and troughs over a lifetime. At Body Gossip, one of our biggest ambassadors is Nikki Graham from being Big Brother, and she's a massive supporter of us. And she struggled with anorexia her entire life. And if you talk to her, there's nothing she doesn't know about her illness. She's so well informed about it, and she knows exactly what she's doing to her body, as I'm sure that this GP was very aware, being a medical professional.
I think that's what, ignorantly, people will be so surprised about, thinking, well, hold on, this is a doctor who should know better. But it's not actually, it's very psychological. I mean, there was Kate Thornton did a great documentary. I don't know if you saw it.
I did, yeah.
Last week. It was very honest and very good. But it's absolutely heartbreaking that this is still going on, and we read, and the age of kids who are anorexic gets down to as young as 6. I mean, I've got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I mean, that terrifies me that they'd be like that. Obviously, we talk about healthy eating, and we don't talk about how important it is how somebody looks. And I'm not blaming the magazines. But, you do get, a while ago, it was all about how somebody looked, how this person looked, this person fat on the beach, this person thin on the beach. All of that, it's just become part of our psyche now.
Yeah, well, part of what we do at Body Gossip is we go into schools and colleges and teach a self-esteem class. And it is terrifying, the degree to which this has become part of young people's lives. And I think it's important to remember that it's not just about looks, but that certainly is a part of it. But I also think the other thing in particular with anorexia is that the effect that starvation has on your brain. We have to remember that the brain is a muscle, is the biggest muscle in the entire body. And if you starve yourself, you're depriving that muscle of energy. And quite a lot of the time, even though you're aware of the facts and you know logically what you should be doing to keep yourself healthy, if you don't feed yourself and if you don't nourish your brain, you're not capable of being logical. And that's a frustrating thing for people who are around an anorexic. It's that you can talk to them as much as you like, but the words don't seem to go in, and it's because their brain isn't functioning correctly.
It's terribly alarming. I went off and spent the afternoon with a bunch of girls recently, just on a secret visit to a hospital. I won't mention where they were, but there were 5 young girls there who were 12, 13, 14, and it wasn't about how they looked at all. It really wasn't about how they looked. It was what was going on inside their heads and not wanting to grow up and everything. And I just, what I think so dreadfully sad is, but by the time of 30, 40, 50, that it carries on. It's a lifelong illness.
Yeah, people do. They become very, very addicted to starving themselves, normally because it's the only way that they know how to deal with the emotions that they're feeling. That a lot of the time people do experience very, very difficult, very complex emotions. And of course, your body is the most easy thing to take it out on. It's the most tangible thing you have. But I'm really pleased in a way that this story has come to light, and that people are treating it with the sensitivity and the seriousness that it deserves. Because, as we know, eating disorders are a very complicated mental illness, and it's not simply about food and body image. It's so much more than that, and I think that this story just shows that.
Thank you for joining us, Natasha Devon there, director of Body Gossip.